At this point here, we are ready to do our slicing. So let me show you where we're going to end up with. So first of all, the slices when we're done is going to look something like this. Alright, you notice that the blue lines here outline the slices. You know the slices are rectangular or square in shape. You notice that each one is number 1, 2, 3, and if I right click, or if I use my slice tool and right click in here and go to slice options, you know that the slices each have names, and the slice names are actually eventually going to turn out to be the actual name of the file. Okay, so what exactly are slices? Well, one thing I can tell you is the slices really have nothing to do with the size of the layers. Okay, so slicing and layers, we're talking, are two different things. For example, so this is the text bar. Okay, so you notice that this layer here is the text bar that I'm turning on and off, and you notice here that slices, okay, are actually independent of that layer. So slices and layers are two different things. So here's exactly what slices are. Now I'm gonna go look at the finished folder. All right. So here's a folder of all my slices. So if I change the view, okay, you can see that each one of these slices turns out to be basically a different image. So book, brew, contact. Okay, well, you know, book, brew, and contact. Okay, here's my header. Okay, this is my header slice here. All right. Here's my sidebar slice. Okay, and this is my sidebar slice all the way down here. Okay, so each slice turns out to be a different image. Now, how does this work? So all these images, all these slices, when you combine them together, they're going to give me this. Okay, they're going to give me a web page. If I right click this and I go open image in a new tab, okay, you can see this is the slice that I made, and you can see that slice right in here. This is slice number 2. All right, and if you look in the folder, all right, I can see slice number 2 right here. All right, so this slice corresponds to this slice here in Photoshop, corresponds to this image here, which makes up my web page, and all those images gets assembled into this huge messy table. So this table starts here and ends way down here. So we're going to actually create this table without having to code anything, and this is the process of slicing. So now that I showed you what we're going to end up with, let's get started with slicing. So where I'm going to start with slicing is I'm going to start with slicing the major areas. So you see here that this area in the middle is my content. This area here is going to be my title. This area here is going to be my links, and this area here, although it doesn't look like a main part, it is, because when I click on it, it brings me back to the splash page, the the index page. So let's start with those areas. Now the first rule of slicing is to zoom in nice and tight. So I'm going to start by zooming in right on the title. Okay, and also I'm going to rearrange my work area so that I'm going to go Shift Tab, because I'm not really using layers right now. Okay, so I'm going to click on my slice tool, and I'm going to make a slice here, hold the space bar, move it up right to the corner there, and I'm going to slice it, I think, right about there. So here's my first slice. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to slice my title. So I'm going to add another slice here. Okay, right. So I'm zoomed in close enough. Now why did I add a slice here, okay, and not starting from here over to here? Instead, I'm going to add my slice here to here. Alright. There, I made my slice. And the reason why I made it and cutting out the rounded edges is because if you look at my title, well, I want my title to be on the inside of the rounded edges. Okay, on the inside of the, I don't want them to interfere with the rounded edges. So therefore, I start slicing here and not at the very edge here. Okay, so next one is the main body part. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, I think. Okay, fit on screen. Okay, so I'm going to use my slice tool, and I'm going to slice it here. Okay, now I'm going to slice it a little bit, not right at the edge, okay, but right outside a little bit, not right underneath the title, but right down a little bit. Okay, so again, not here, but oops. Actually, I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to use my slice tool, and I'm going to start slicing roughly about here. Alright, and let me explain why. Okay, so I'm going to slice here, okay, all the way down. Wow, this is bigger than I expected. All the way down to roughly here. Okay, there's my main body slice. And the reason I sliced from here, I left a little bit of a margin there, let me explain that as well, is because the text, I want the text to have a little bit of margin between here and here. Between here and here. Okay? And also if I go to another page with more text. Okay, I don't have any pages with too much text. Oh, here. I want a little bit of margin at the very bottom as well. Okay, I don't want to go right to the edge. That's why I made the slices the way they are. So zoom, right click, fit on screen. Okay, now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice the link bar. All right, so I'm going to zoom, and I'm going to get in nice and tight here. And okay, I noticed something here. I noticed that I missed a little area here. Okay. So you got to be extremely accurate when you're slicing. Okay, so I missed a little bit of an area, so I'm going to select my slice tool. I'm going to click on this slice here. Okay. And take this dot, drag it down. There. Okay, now I have my slices. Okay, so from here I'm going to slice my links. So click on my slice tool, and I want to be real accurate. Now with the slice tool, I want to slice from here, roughly about here to here. Now why don't I slice from here to here? Okay, why don't I do that instead? Instead, I'm going to slice actually from here to here. And the reason is because when the mouse touches this area here, okay, so when the mouse touches this area here, I don't want the rollover to change. I don't want the link to work. Only when the mouse gets close enough to this hour sign when I want it to work. So let's have a look at the web page. When the mouse is here, okay, I don't want it to work. And when the mouse is too close here, I don't want it to work. I only want it to work when I touch the hours, okay, or close to it. That's why I slice from here, okay, and not over to the left a bit. So I'm gonna hit the space bar and move over. And the key to slicing is again zooming in nice and tight. Okay, I'm gonna make a slice here. Okay, and I'm gonna make another slice here. Move this over. Making a slice here. Make another slice here. Alright, and this one here, I'm going to make another slice here. Now, I'm going to make a mistake here on purpose. Now, when I make this slice here, I made a mistake. You notice here with the slices, all my other buttons, they have no space here, no space here, no space here. But this one here, I made a mistake. It has a little space there. You got to be extremely accurate when you slice, okay, not to have these weird little spaces. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to click on my slice tool again, okay, I'm going to move this up, just like that, and that way I don't have that weird little space, because whenever I have that strange space, it's going to create basically a little tiny slice file, and it just gets kind of messy and ugly. Okay, so the next point with slicing, zoom, right click, fit on screen, is to save it. Okay, the next part with slicing is I have to name my slices. Okay, very important to name your slices. Remember that the slice name will eventually become the file names, okay? And the file names, remember, the file and folder names when you're working on website stuff will never have any spaces, will never have punctuation except for maybe an underscore, okay? So I only need to name the major areas, all right? And the reason I need to name the only need to name the major areas because these are the ones that are going to be linked to something important. The ones that aren't really that important, I really don't need to name them. So I don't need to name all the slices, just the major ones. So let's go around and name the slices. So this one here. So I'm going to click on my slice tool. This one here. I'm going to call this. Top title. Okay. This one here. I'm going to call this left sidebar. Okay. This one here, I'm going to call this page title. Okay, this one here. Remember, these are file names. Okay, I'm going to call this main page body. All right. And actually, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get my layers back, and I'm going to turn on my rollover layers, and I'm going to do it this way. All right. Oh, I forgot one more slice. So I'm going to add one more slice here. Okay, I'm going to slice it right in this area here because this area could possibly be used for ads. Okay, so I'm going to right click here, edit slice option, and call this ads. Okay. Now, with this area, with this area here, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to call these ones my buttons. So right now we're looking at the kind of the highlighted rollover buttons. So I'm going to use my slice tool. Okay, right click, edit slice options, and I'm going to call this one button hours, and call this one button brew. Call this one button eats. Okay. Button book. And I'll explain why. Maybe you can figure out yourself why I'm calling them all button first. Why am I naming them all button first? Okay. Why don't I just call it hours button, brew button, eats button, where, instead of button hours, button brew, button contact? Anyone figure that out? Okay, I'm gonna call this button contact. Okay, so there I have it. Save it. And the reason why I named them all buttons first and then the names later is because when I see them in a folder, I want all those buttons to be sorted alphabetically. So if I were to list them, I want all my buttons to be sorted together. Okay. If I didn't have the word button in the front, all these files might be sorted all throughout my layers, which is going to make it very complicated to find them. Okay. So remember, what's happening with a web page is like when I roll the mouse over it like this, okay, the browser using JavaScript is going to switch from this file, okay, and when the mouse rolls over it, it switches to this one, and then when the mouse rolls out of it, it switches back to this one. So I have to make that switch. I have to make it do it using JavaScript. It just makes it so much easier if the buttons are easier to find, if they're kind of grouped together. The related buttons are grouped together. That's why I named them the way they are. Okay, in the next video we're going to get into the next step, and that will be to export the slices. And it is this exporting step that will also create the our first web page. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.